Welcome to Conversations with Masesi, where my guest and I talk about life, family, love, community, and everything in between. If you have a family mission statement that clarifies what your purpose is, then you use that as the criterion by which you make decisions. Joining me today are my two children, Mpumelelo and Standiwe. Welcome to Conversations.
Thank you for having us.
So today we're talking about a mission. I'll start that with a story. When I entered corporate South Africa, I did not even know what a mission or vision statement is, because it's something that was not communicated to me. And for the first time, I started having a vision statement, a vision board, and being introduced in that kind of a world. So when you guys came along, I decided we're going to do this from when they are little and take it from there. So that's why we're here today, so we can share with our viewers today how has that panned out in our lives, how it started, and how exciting that was. So we'll start with you, Mpumelelo. Do you remember the first day we did our vision boards?
I remember the first day we did our vision boards, January 1st. I forgot what year, but
You were little though.
We were very small. You brought us all together, sat downstairs by the couches, and you said, okay, write down what you want to happen this year for your mind, your spirit, and your body, and we'll work towards it. And at the end of the year, we'll all come together and see what we've accomplished this year.
Yeah. And for you, Standiwe?
I remember that as well. And I remember the next year thinking that it was too boring. So that year we got magazines and decided to put pictures of our vision up, because I think it's exciting to see other people doing the things that you want to do. So having a clear visual kind of helps you envision it more for yourself than just putting it into words.
The most interesting thing for me when we're doing that, I'm not a creative person, and you Standiwe are. And when we started doing it, I did it with my boring kind of Bristol board and everything, and you wanted it to be elaborate and out there. And we created a space for you to be creative and do it whichever way you want. But you, Mpumelelo, for you, how was that process? Because you like things done here and now, let's finish.
For that one year where we did like magazine covers, I went really basic, and I just put like little images and then my own drawings.
Yes.
Just to make it look how I would want it,
Yes.
and make it easy for myself.
But was doing it the way that you like, for you, because it's a vision board, it was sitting on the wall, you have to look at it every day. Was it motivating when you did it that way?
Yeah, I think it is. It's more personal for me rather than it being fake with a bunch of images that I don't really care about.
That's so true. And you, Madam Creative, yours was so busy. So just give us one snippet of what you planned for your mind, because we will break it down to plan something for the year for your mind, for your body, and for your soul, right?
So for the mind, obviously when I was younger and now still, you're in school. So more for the mind, I kind of focused on mental health and doing things that were a part of separate from my extracurriculars.
Yes.
And from my own schooling. So I took piano lessons, but for the mind, I said, okay, I'll learn a song that I don't have to for my lessons every week, something that I'm passionate about, or I'll read an article about something that I'm interested in and I might do in the future. So it was more kind of things that I don't need to do, but trying to figure out what I enjoy and what relaxes me and has me mentally in a good space while doing all of the things that I had to do.
That's so true. When I think about back in when we started it, when you were little, it was so basic of, I want to read this book, I want to do that. But as you grew up and you progressed, it changed, right? And it started putting some money in there. So tell me about that, Lelo, because yours included, I'm saving this much, this is what I want to buy.
Yeah, with money, getting a job, I think it's really important. I really like spending money on myself and others, and I think it's good to have like a year end goal for something big you want to buy. So it was either that year or the year afterwards, I was mainly saving money to buy myself my PC.
Yes.
As you know. Yeah, and I got it, I did it, and I've been trying to be smart with my money as well.
Yeah. And I remember on your vision board you had something about traveling.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
So just take us through that, because for you to be bold and say, I'm putting this on my vision board, and the steps for you to achieve that. What happened? Because it's one thing to put things on your vision board and go every morning and say, this is what I'm going to do, right? But it's another thing when you put it on your vision board and you put in the work. So just talk to us about the work part of it.
So for me, obviously we've been on like a couple family trips and everything, but I wanted a job the second I turned 15. The second I
Yes.
was legal to work, I was like, okay, I'm working. And I don't think my family realized how much money I was actually saving
No, we
until I
didn't. It
showed
was a
them.
surprise.
So thankfully, the opportunity to travel just kind of found me. And so when I got that opportunity, my family was like, oh, but how are you going to get this money? And I was like, well, I've actually been saving up. So I think that just because you don't know when the opportunity would come, I didn't know how I was going to get the plane tickets. I didn't know where I was going to go. I didn't know where I was going to stay, but I was still saving that money for traveling, even though there wasn't necessarily a substantial plan that I had right in front of me, but it was so that when the opportunity found me, I was prepared.
Yes.
And I had everything that I needed to.
You guys are talking about all the nice things that you visualized, you put it down on paper, you put it in front of you, and every day it was a constant reminder of this is what I want to do, this is what I want to achieve in this particular year. But are you telling me that none of the things that you put in there, are there some of the things that never happened?
Oh, absolutely.
And how did you feel about that? And how did you course correct? Because it's either the vision was, I don't know, maybe it was too much, or the goal was not attainable, especially with what you have. So just take us through to, I put this on my vision board. I mean, you don't have to go into details, but I didn't achieve it, and this is how I course corrected.
Well, for me, I put saving $3,000 by the end of that year, which I did in fact not do. I spent mainly on food. I'm not gonna lie. I spent a lot of money on food.
Skip the dishes. That's right.
Yeah. But after that year, I was like, well, food is always gonna be there. We have food at home.
Oh, when you said food, you mean takeaway. So
Yeah.
people don't think that you were buying food
Going
for
out
our house.
food. Yeah. We have food at home, and I don't really need to eat as much as I was. So, yeah, it's mainly started spending less on food.
Okay. And what about you?
For me personally, let's say like I've had a goal to get a grade in a certain class, but then something would come along like, oh, there's an assignment that's not really my specialty, or not to blame anyone, or it was like a bad teacher or something like that that wasn't able to get me to my goal. And when I was younger, I had a hard time with not achieving my goals because I thought that it reflected something about myself. But for some of the goals, there's like outside circumstances that you can't control.
That's right.
That come in the way of you meeting your goals. So I think something that helped me accept that is just understanding that sometimes it's not my fault and it has nothing to do with me. But then also just being self-aware to say, yeah, I did mess up here. And as opposed to like just forgetting it, for the next year, trying to figure out a plan to get me to that goal, because you can't have the same plan and expect different results.
No, not at all. That's insanity right there, right? You cannot do that. I really like when you guys have experienced the fall and you come out of that and then do something different, because sometimes when we are adamant to get something, we want things done that way, and this is how I like it. And if not, then I feel I'm a failure, but you are not. It was just on a board. It was something you were thinking about. And it's something that gives you direction in your life to say, this is what I'm doing, this is where I'm going. This is how I'm mapping out my life for this year. And I want you guys to touch on, because you know how you come from a family where we like debriefing, and we'll come back and talk about debriefing. How does that work for you? How did it work? Because I know when I ask you at home, it's something, when you were little, it was easy. When you're growing up, I think it gets a bit dicey. So how was debriefing? Because it was important for us to know that you're setting realistic goals and they're smart goals for you.
I think debriefing was important, like going through either the day, the week, the month, or how the year's been going for us, talking together, sharing how sharing our goals, if they were attained, why they weren't attained, if they were attained, how good of a thing that is for us, congratulating each other, all of that. I think it's really important and like brings everyone together.
Yeah, like Lo said, I think the support is very nice to have. And I also think it's nice to debrief, because if you're not speaking something out loud, or at least writing it down, you're holding on to it. And maybe if it's like a goal that you didn't achieve or something that didn't go well for you that day or that week, I feel like if you're holding on to it, it's just more than it needs to be in your life. So I feel like a debrief is also a good way of unloading things off of your back that you don't need to carry on with you to the next week.
I need your final words on this now. Where are you at? Is this something you're thinking, this was good for me? It was worth the time? It has put me on the right path? That's my first question. Your final thought.
Right now, for me, I think where I'm at that's like huge is university. I think high school, no matter all the emotions that came with it, I think it was worth it in the end, and that going to university is a good big step for my life.
And for you?
For me, I think that it's more of a mentality and a mindset, because like it's not like the world has changed very much. It's not like bad things don't still happen. It's not like I still don't achieve every single goal that I set for myself.
That's right.
But it's like when your mindset has been trained to be a certain way and your internal dialogue is a certain way, it makes everything easier to navigate and easier to handle. And that doesn't mean that bad things don't happen, but it's just a good foundation to have to deal with when things don't go your way.
That is awesome. You guys, I value your time. Thank you so much for joining me today on Conversations and talking to me about the mission and the vision that we all have in life. So, thank you.
Thanks, Mom.
Thank you.
Thank you. A mission statement is a way to put into words what you expect from each other, a vision of your family unit, and a perfect guide for tough decisions. Where there is no vision, people perish. Remember to like, share, subscribe. Follow us on all social media platforms to keep the conversation going. Thank you for joining us on Conversations. Grace and peace be multiplied unto you and yours. Shalom.